Kemp, three-time world champion and creator of Your Greatest Season. I'm here with Dommick Cruz. I've had the opportunity to be with him during his final phase of training for his upcoming fight on December 30th to defend his world title. And Dommick started in wrestling. And so over this last few weeks, I've had a chance to talk to him, get to know him, train with him a little bit. And he said some interesting things to me that I think would really help the wrestlers out there. And some of that starts from his beginnings as a wrestler. And he told me he didn't really get to achieve what he wanted to as a wrestler, and that drove him. And then we talked about some other things too, and I wanted to get into that too, because I asked him what drove him, and he said doubt. And a lot of athletes are afraid to talk about that. They always want to be macho, and I'm like, they want to feel like they never doubt, they're always confident. But when he said that to me, I thought, well, that's how I feel sometimes, you know, and so I felt throughout my career. So to talk to a champion who's right kind of at the, you know, he's right in the heart of all of his training, he's had a lot of success, and having him still say that was enlightening to me. And I want the other wrestlers out there to hear that too. But let's just start from his early beginnings as a wrestler. I'll just have him explain kind of how his progression to where he started to where he is now.
Well, realistically, Coach Kemp just started asking me random questions, and I mean, when Coach Kemp starts asking you questions, you answer them. I mean, he's a guy that I grew up watching. There's statues of him. He beat one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. So I always wished I could have done it. I grew up watching silver medalist Abbas, and I remember the first time I got to wrestle at Abbas. He came into Alliance, and I got to go takedowns with him. And he took me down like 5 times, and I got him down one time when he was exhausted because he came in fat and out of shape. And I was like, I took him down! And I was so happy, but I just remember growing up, and I wasn't the best wrestler in the world. I was good. I have good coaches, thank God for my coaches who put the time and energy into me, but I didn't have the highest level coaches in the world in Tucson, Arizona, where I grew up. And they were just there for me, and that helped me so much. But I couldn't afford the wrestling camps because I come from humble beginnings, so I didn't get to go to the high-level wrestling camps that a lot of parents would pay for. And I just did what I could. I went to freestyle season all summer, and I wrestled all year long. But my senior year came around. I went to as much schooling as I could. You know, I was in the classrooms every lunch break and after school every day almost, just to keep my grades up so I could graduate with 3.0. In hopes and prayers that I would get a scholarship from somewhere. My senior year, I tore my ankle up real bad. I didn't do near as good at state as I should have, and I ended up placing 6th. And it just, my mind just didn't believe then. I can't explain it any other way than that. I just, I didn't have the mental capacity to believe in myself yet. And I'll never forget that after I failed that year, that summer, I went to nationals for freestyle. I missed placing there by 1 match, so I never became an All-American. And I was just I graduated high school never placing as an All-American and never getting top 2 at state. And it broke my heart. It was literally, I worked so hard year-round for 4 or 5 years. Since 7th grade, I worked year-round. And I never got to the top in wrestling. And I was watching these guys become world champions, multiple times state champions, and I wrestled with them every day. And I just never was as good as them. And it broke my heart. But when I graduated high school, started going to college to get my associate's degree, I started coaching a high school wrestling team in Tucson, Arizona at Ironwood Ridge High School. And one of the students that I was coaching, I was just a body in there because I missed wrestling so much. I wanted to still compete while I was working 3 jobs. I was working at Lowe's, I was a valet parker, I was a janitor at the gym, and I was just working my butt off. And while I was going to school, I went to night school after I worked all my jobs. But I finally got to go in this gym. One of my students says, hey, there's this boxing gym down the way. You got to try it. You'll love it. You can fight each other, put all this gear on. I'm like, I don't know, man. I can't punch. I can't kick. I wrestle. And he's like, just try it. It's amazing. So I go in with him one time, fell in love with it. By 19 years old, I was 18 years old at this time. I went there for about 6-7 months. By 19 years old, I had my first MMA fight. I paid $350 to fight at 155 pounds, and I had to eat because the guy was so much heavier than me. I couldn't make the weight limit, so I had to eat just so that I could legally fight him. And I don't know, man. I just missed competing so much that I literally was paying money for these fights. because my medicals cost more than I was getting paid. My medicals were $350. I'd walk away with a $50 check, but I won, so I was happy. And that's how my career started. But one thing I'll never forget is when I started fighting, it was a chip on my shoulder that got me in there. It was I didn't do what I wanted to in high school. I wasn't a state champion. I didn't do what I wanted to at freestyle. I wasn't an All-American. And I never placed in the top 2 at any freestyle tournaments or Greco tournaments. And I went year-round trying to do so, let me tell you. And I worked my butt off. I cut 20 pounds every single tournament. And it just didn't happen for me. But it drove me to an extent that I can't even explain. It made me so upset that I wasn't good enough then, that it made my mind stronger. And that was what I was talking to Kemp about. He was asking me what drives me. And the more I thought about it, I've accomplished so much. I've been a multiple-time world champion now. There's always something more you can do, but more than anything, I realize that I'm in this to evolve as a person, as a human. Every single fight I have, I run into different obstacles, different fears, different doubts. And these doubts drive me because I'm trying to expose something to myself. And that's what I'm realizing is I'm not doing this to impress you. I'm not doing this to impress my coach. I'm doing this now to impress me and see what I can push myself to. And each time I do this, I'm pushing myself beyond another limit. And I can remember winning titles and being depressed because I didn't do as good as I thought I should have recently. And it's an always thing. You're always trying to become better. And I think it's something that I'm always working on. Even now, I'm looking for that inner peace, that thing in me that just gives me satisfaction. And I still haven't found it, but I am happy, and I've learned a lot that I don't need these world titles. I don't need these championships. I don't need to be first in order to have peace and happiness. I just have to challenge myself and be better than I was yesterday. And actually what happens is I accomplish all those things at the same time simultaneously. And it's not easy. I'm still on that path as we speak. I have a fight in 11 days. I just fought for my life right now. I'm exhausted, but I don't know. Coach Kemp got me thinking and talking, and here I am.
Thank you so much, Dommick, man.
Thanks,
I really
Coach.
appreciate you taking the time. And I want everyone watching this video to know that just because you're a champion, sometimes you don't know the backstory, and I love the backstories. I love that struggle. I didn't even know some of the stuff you just said. We've been talking a long time, but a little bit about how you actually got into it is amazing to me. So anyway, thank you.
Thanks, guys. Good luck. Stay with it. Don't quit.
Absolutely. Awesome.